What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, we're here with TikTok Neal giving us some Americans living abroad. First time you realize America really messed you up. We finna check this out. I know I did. This is probably like part 5, 6 for me. I know I had to delete some, but this is probably like part 5, maybe I would say. But we finna check this out. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Send down those recommendations.
What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
It's not current, but when I was studying in the UK, one day I really needed to see a doctor. But I didn't know how to access care. I didn't know what my insurance situation was like, so I just went to work. And eventually I was in so much pain that I burst into tears and my boss pulled me aside. And he was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "I really need to see a doctor, but I don't know how to access care here. I don't know if I can afford it." And he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Go down the street to the hospital." And I argued with him. And he was like, "No, just trust me, just go to the hospital." So I went and I was like clutching my student ID in my hand, my passport. And I was like trying to remember how much I had in my bank account, like checking. And I got called back to the doctor. He was like, "Yep, this is what's wrong with you. Pick up your prescription on the way out." And I was like, "I'm sorry, do you know how much it's gonna be?" And he said, "I don't know, maybe 8 pounds. I was like, "I'm sorry, 8? He was like, "Yeah, I don't think it's ever more than that." The receptionist kept laughing at me because I didn't feel comfortable leaving without paying somebody. And I kept asking and asking if I owed anybody any money.
One time that made you realize that America really messed you up.
So I've told you before, I lived in Japan for a bit, and I got into a bike accident there.
Oh.
I went like skull first into a concrete
Dang.
support for a bridge. I had to have an ambulance ride, a stay in the ER, an MRI, a private overnight room where they set up an extra bed for my friend to stay with me, meds, checkups, the works. Oh my god, look at that mascara. Fuck. Anyway, I want you to guess how much that cost me. All of that.
She better not say free.
$60.
$60. I mean, compared to America, that's practically free. You know, all that stuff, that's a 20K visit. That is a 20K visit here in the States for sure.
$60 total.
What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
I was studying abroad in Germany, and that winter I broke my foot playing soccer. At first I didn't go to the hospital because I'm so used to a shitty healthcare system, but then I was reminded that I paid $200 for a full year of full coverage health insurance. Fuck yeah. So I went to the hospital and the doctor was x-raying my foot. I asked, "Wie viele ist das X-ray?" Huh? How much is the x-ray? Yeah, I understood you, but, where did you get this idea that we would charge for an x-ray? America? Really? How much do they cost over there? Like $700 to $1,400, depending on what you get? Wow, well, here in Germany, we don't charge for fucking pictures. My God, that's verrückt.
That is crazy. That's insane. Just because, like, my guy paid $200 for the whole year. For the whole year to get any coverage. I mean, technically it's not free, but to get any coverage that he could possibly need. We out here paying that monthly just to still come out to a doctor visit and pay at least half of that bill. Like, that is crazy.
We don't charge for fucking pictures. My God, that is verrückt. My knee feels funny too.
I'm currently living abroad. What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
Oh, I've got a couple. So I'm from Los Angeles and now I live in Austria. And basically when I first started working here, they were like, you get 25 days vacation, Fridays off early, and if you're sick, don't come into work. And I was just like, I was floored. Because in the US, you only get 10 days vacation and like 5 sick days, and you don't get Fridays off early. You better work your ass until it's 9 p.m. On top of all of that, all my friends here have like 2 masters, 3 PhDs, etc., 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 because education here is actually free. Amazing. What an amazing concept. In addition, I have yet to see a large homeless community out in the open here in Austria because the government actually offers some social support.
That's good.
A lot of social support. In LA, you have villages, streets, blocks full of homeless people. Because
I've seen at least, like, I've never been to LA, but I've seen like on like documentaries, and like I've been to San Antonio, and San Antonio can kind of be the same, but since I know Los Angeles kind of a little bigger when it comes to just homelessness in downtown here, like, you would be surprised. Like, it's almost like a community, like, of homeless people. It's like they got their own little neighborhood. Like, that is sad.
Villages, streets, blocks full of homeless people because our government doesn't care about us. And here, people like don't measure their worth off the car they drive.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
I'm not living abroad anymore, but I was from 2010 to 2011. I was living in Uppsala, Sweden, which is like about 45 minutes north of Stockholm. And this was before any major civil unrest was happening in the country or Trump or anything. This was like 10 years ago. I was out with friends and we started talking about how this Swedish girl happened to have cancer and how it's completely taken care of by their government. All of her health care, all of her bills are paid for. The odds are that she will definitely get over cancer. So I go up to my two friends, one from Australia, one from Canada, and I say, oh my God, you guys, did you hear? She has cancer and the government's completely taking care of all of her bills. Isn't that amazing? Like, oh my God. And then my friends replied, Sabrin, you realize that you are the weird ones. Americans are the only ones that don't have that program. That was the first of many moments.
It's crazy because America, at least from my understanding, from my knowledge, we raise a lot of money for cancer patients. For like, you know, like I know for sure cancer patients, like we raise a lot of money. But why do these people still have to come out of pocket? And like there's a lot of money being raised for these hospitals, and people are still coming out of pocket for this stuff. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Moments where I was embarrassed to be an American.
What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
When there was a medical emergency in my household, and I ended up calling my mother-in-law to make sure that it was okay that I called the ambulance and we wouldn't be charged for it, and also if that was an appropriate thing to call the ambulance for. It was top priority, actually.
Wow.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really...
So I live in Stockholm, Sweden, but I'm from Nashville, and I used to have the best job ever in Nashville, but I was always paranoid about getting fired for no reason, because that happened to a lot of people at my company. People get fired and no one would say why. Like, they would just drop in the group chat and be like, this person's not with us anymore. We'd be like, okay. So when I was applying for jobs in Sweden, I would like tell the employer, I'd be like, oh, job security is really important to me because I don't want to just like show up one day and find out that I'm fired. They were like, what are you talking about? Like, that's illegal. I was like, huh? And long story short, it's like completely impossible to fire someone like in Sweden. The company has to prove that you either killed somebody or that like employing you will make them bankrupt. It's like so much work to try and fire somebody. But you can quit whenever you want, depending on your contract. But yeah, all my employers were like shocked to hear that I could get fired tomorrow and they didn't have to tell me why. Thanks, Sweden.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America...
So I don't live abroad anymore, but for half of 2018, I lived in Germany, and I have so many stories. The town that I lived in had like a main plaza area, and there was a cafe in that plaza, so a couple of my other American friends and I decided to try it out one day, and there was a construction site nearby. We heard a really loud bang, and, you know, we kind of assumed that someone had fired a gun, and so we, like, ducked for cover, and then we were looking around frantically, trying to find, like, a place that we could run to or hide to get out of the situation, and then we realized that no one had shot a gun. No, it was a loud bang from the construction site. That's it. That's all it was. We'd been speaking in English, and we all have really obvious American accents, so all the Germans around us gave us these really sad looks, like, oh, these poor, poor Americans.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really...
That's funny. That's crazy. That is crazy. But see, we got a lot more, a lot of new ones that I've seen on this one, so that's good. That's good. And hey, that healthcare situation, man. We raise a lot of money for certain, like, medical procedures. Like, there's certain hospitals, they raise a lot of funds. Are they not, what are they using these funds for? Like, because from my understanding, people are still coming out of pocket if they have cancer. That's crazy. Man, I don't know what's going on here. I don't, but... It's crazy out here. It's crazy. But that's all I have for this video, guys. Y'all make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Send down those recommendations. And y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.